Hey, hello, how do you do? What's going on? It's the Seriously Wrong podcast, and we're those wrong boys over there, the wrong guys.
Yeah, those wrong boys, the wrong boys, Sean, Aaron, I'm Aaron. That's Sean,
Hello.
boys who are wrong, that's us.
Yeah. You know, one of these days, we're going to be wrong men, but not today.
I don't know, I think that would have happened by now. You know, we can't just keep waiting around assuming one day, hoping we'll be wrong men. But
It actually reminds me, the over there thing reminds me, my toddler, she's almost 2, and if I'm showing her stuff in a book, and I'm like, hey, what's this? And she's like, oh, zebra. And I'm like, yeah. What's this? Camel. Yeah. If I point to something she doesn't know, she'll say, that one. What's this? She's like, that one.
it's true, that is that one.
Yeah. No, it's a good
Accurate.
workaround.
Always right, that kid.
So today, this is a very special episode. You know, we're going to be talking through one day in Utopia. We're going to talk through one day in a perfected, library socialist, ecological, luxurian utopia that's directly democratic, a commune of communes where everyone's paid according to need, where we live within the limits of the planet, but we have a higher standard of living than has ever been achieved before in history. Another way of saying that, utopia.
Yeah, people seem to like when we talk about future societies, what they look like, or do sketches within them. There's a lot that can be gained by just kind of putting yourself in the situation, trying to think through, like, what would a day look like in a utopian society? What would it actually be like to be in there? You know, not just like theoretically, oh, everything's democratic, or do you have access to everything you need, or whatever. What's the visceral sense of what it's like. So that's what I'm trying to capture. Obviously, you're going to have to use a bit of imagination. We can't physically teleport you there, but we're going to paint a picture with words.
We're working on that. And if we get a few more patrons on Seriously Wrong,
yeah, I think it's a Patreon
/
goal for 5,000 per month, then we will build the teleportation to a Utopia machine. But
yeah, if we get 5,000 subscribers per month who are giving that sweet 6 to get access to the whole bonus, all the archive, all the bonus episodes, then yes, we commit to fully creating some sort of time machine that goes to a particular future that is good out of many possible futures. We're going to try our darndest to do that.
Well, yeah, we're a long way off from 5,000. So for now, we're just going to do this in an auditory, world-building kind of way.
Oh, another morning in Utopia. Okay, I'll just put my slippers on and walk down the block towards the coffee hub.
Hey, neighborino.
Hey, neighbor.
Good morning. How's your day?
Well, it's looking pretty good so far. The sun's shining, birds singing. How are you doing?
You know it. Just another beautiful day in the Utopia.
Taupe. Oh, I like that. Okay, I'll catch you later.
Fido, leave that nice man alone. Sorry, he gets barking sometimes early in the morning.
Oh, it's okay. I love dogs.
Harmless. Oh, how is your mom, by the way? I remember there was some medical issues.
No, she's doing much better. Yeah, no, they dealt with it super fast. She got seen right away and got everything she needed. So.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's normal for us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's normal, but I'm still glad you checked in because that shows that you care, and I would do the same for you, neighbor.
Yeah, and sometimes even with immediate attention, things don't always go perfectly. But I'm so glad to hear that. That's amazing. Your mom's a real gem. And so are you.
Oh, thanks. Well, yeah, I owe a lot to her. She is a gem. All right, well, I'm going to the coffee hub, so you have fun. I'll see you, Fido. All right, now the coffee hub. Yeah, I think I'll just go with the regular drip coffee today.
Medium roast, dark roast, any roast, all kinds of roasts, mixed roast.
Yeah, medium. Here, I brought my own cup.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, and there's cream, sugar, everything on the side there. You can serve yourself. You know, make it just how you like it. And nice shirt, by the way. That is snappy. That color looks great on you. Matches your complexion.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I took it out from the clothing library, but I think I'm probably going to hold on to it for a while. It does look great, hey?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think actually that see that seam there? I actually sewed this shirt up when I was working at the clothing library.
No way.
Yeah. That's,
you did a killer job.
I knew I recognized it. That's great.
Huh. Well, jack of all trades over here. Perfect coffee, great stitching. I mean, You're making me look like a lazy piece of crap. Just kidding.
Some days you want to stitch, some days you want to serve coffee. But hey, you do a lot too. I know you do. Enjoy your day.
Well, we're all called to serve our community, so. And I'll just write a quick little compliment for you down on this piece of paper and fold that and put that in the compliment jar.
Oh, you didn't need to.
No, but I mean it. Don't read it till the end of shift, though.
Don't want to read them all at once. It'll go to my head, reading all these compliments.
No, I know you. You're a humble guy. You can handle it. And I'll just sit down with the newspaper here. Oh, that's a nice headline. World peace continues. I mean, that's great news. Oh, that is great. Garfield has gone so funny since they went open source. Really beautiful art, too. Local child genius cures rare cancer. Well, that's good news. Apparently only 6 people in history have ever had that type of cancer, and now it's cured. Well, I guess we are running out of types of cancer to cure, so that's great. A child genius, too. I'm glad he got the support he needed to contribute. And no more plastic at all in the ocean, say scientists. That's incredible. I mean, it's been a while since we put any plastic in, but I know it takes a long time to get it out, so yeah, things are going all right. Oh, my phone. Oh, it's my wife. Hello? What do you mean? No. No, you're not serious, are you? No, that can't... What? This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, yeah, thanks for telling me, but... Fuck, okay. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.
I wasn't meaning to eavesdrop there, neighbor, but I couldn't help it. Overhear you sounded like something pretty bad on that call. Do you need help with anything? Or I was just running out to a massage appointment, but I can postpone it. Always here to help a neighbor out.
No, it's okay, but thank you so much for your concern. I don't mind at all that you heard some details of my call and came to my aid. No, I actually really appreciate that. It's just my wife, she spilled some milk on the counter. So we're going to have to go wipe that up. I have to go home and wipe that up. So.
Oh, no, that's horrible. Yeah, with spill-proof cups being ubiquitous, that's really rare nowadays. That's I can see why that would be difficult for you.
Yeah, no, it's not her fault. It was just this stuff happens and
still.
I think we should be able to. Hopefully, none gets in the corners or the little seams or whatever where you might have that kind of milk smell later on. But I'll just do my best. I'll go take my coffee and. We'll deal with it together, you know. Well, and if anything, it will strengthen our relationship to overcome adversity together. So I mean, there's a silver lining. I don't want to overreact. It's just that I've never had something that bad happen to me before.
Right. Yeah. No. Well, yeah. If you ever need someone to talk to, not that I've done professional counselor training, but I also sometimes volunteer at the If You Ever Need to Talk center. I like to volunteer there for people come and just need to chat about something. So. My ears are always open if you need one. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thank you. Just having that offered even is just like a huge boost for me. That's great. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. It's actually making me feel better just to know that there are people around who are ready to help in different ways. But I feel like I'm okay right now and I don't need that help, but just knowing that help is there is just huge. So thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too, neighbor. Thank you.
I love the belt buckle, by the way. What is that? The skull with flames? Really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, oh, that's so badass. I have to take that out. I waited on hold for weeks to get it.
Oh, yeah. I bet you there's a lineup for that bad boy.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right. Well, thanks so much. I'll see you around.
See ya.
So, how does a day start?
I think most days start for most people with waking up. It's the first thing that you do.
That's right. Yeah. Does it count as a...
Or I guess it starts sleeping.
You are asleep at the beginning. Yeah, if you're talking about the calendar transition.
Yeah, when does a day start? When you're done sleeping? When
versus
you start
the social experience of a day always starts with waking up.
Yeah.
But it might not line up to the calendar day.
The conscious experience of a day.
Yeah, and I think we're talking about like one conscious experience of a day in Utopia, not one calendar day in a Utopia, right? Where this is the
but
the
there's
human
also
perspective.
I feel like your sleep affects the whole day. So in a way, I feel like the day kind of starts the moment you fall asleep, because that's
It's an investment.
I think of, if I'm sorting my sleeps into either the day before or the day after, I would sort the sleep into the day after because it affects it more. Like your whole day is affected by that. So,
absolutely. So
yeah.
Starting with sleep, I mean, what's sleep like in Utopia? Well, it's deep, it's restful. I think that technologies that kind of like monitor your breathing and stuff like that, if done in a way that's privacy conscious and is oriented around like benefiting you to understand your sleep better and sleep better, that type of thing, there's room for that in a Utopia.
Yeah, I think one crucial thing is that you wouldn't be limited in how your sleep setup is set up. Make it you have like a less than ideal sleeping situation, like being unable to have your own room or being unable to have a bed that's comfortable for you because you can't afford a new mattress, or, sleeping in a room that's too hot, too cold, too light, too loud.
Sleeping on someone's couch because you're like in between apartments and the cost of living is too high.
Sleeping in your car,
sleeping rough on the streets. Like that is something that just doesn't exist in our utopian society. Every night there is ample empty beds that can be filled at a moment's notice. If you're tired and you have no place to sleep, there is somewhere in every community where there's rows and rows of comfortable, available, clean beds where you have privacy and you can get 6, 8, 9 hours, whatever you need.
Yeah, and people understand that there's different sleep needs, and if like you need total silence, if you need white noise, if you need pitch black, if you need like whatever it is that you need to sleep, that'll be available to you because it doesn't take that much resources to make sure people have all those options. That's just not prioritized in the current society. Our knowledge about what would make sleep best for people exists, but it isn't fully come to fruition. So that would be, I think with minimal social and resource investment, that's totally possible. A place for everyone to sleep, and not just a place, but the right place for the right person. You wait.
Sorry. I had something to say, but I had this horrible deep burp.
Right.
Just keep that in. Also, if someone has trouble sleeping or needs help to sleep better, I think there's available sleep consultations that can connect people with practices that can help them to sleep better. Maybe like you can even put in the utopian constitution, like number 1, everyone has a right to good sleep, enough sleep, and the proper context for sleep. That is the foundation of a good day. That's the foundation of a good society.
Absolutely. It's a medical issue if you're unable to get good sleep. And in a utopian society, obviously, you have access to medical professionals to help you with all that stuff, including your sleep. So you're having a good sleep, hopefully, and if not, then, the resources are there to deal with it. Obviously, it's not completely perfect. You might have a bad sleep, but we're going to help you with that. But let's assume you had a good sleep, a good night's sleep. You wake up, and probably no alarm unless you're the kind of person who likes that for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I used to wake up to a song I really liked for a while, and at first it was great, like, this song I like, and then now I can't listen to it at all. Like, I just hate that song. The beginning of that song reminds me of that, like, being ripped into the world kind of feeling. And yeah, I think the wake up process, it's like that feeling of being ripped into the world to like be forced to do things you want to do. That should be like an alien feeling that people generally don't feel.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if you're like, say you have appointments during the day, or like you got a kid, you got to get up with the kid. Maybe they'll just be the one waking you up in that instance. Mm-hmm. But like, I can imagine situations where you might have to wake up earlier than you want to. But nothing beats just like letting your body do the waking up when it does it.
Yeah, but if someone needs to be woken up, I mean, the light stuff works really well, like opening up your blackout curtains to like increase the amount of light, or even stuff like like being rustled or like being moved. It's like, when I think of being woken up in a peaceful way,
your bed just starts to gently tip you back and forth a little bit.
Something like that. I don't know. We could work out the details. We'll get our best guys on it.
However you want to be gently cascaded awake, within reason, obviously. There's ecological limits in this utopia, but within reason, however you want to be woken up, that would be how you are woken up. And then, you get up, you greet the day, stretch, have a nice shower, nice warm water, wash your face.
Yeah, no, what I think is really cool in the technological front, I'm not sure if this exists, but I've always felt like it would be really cool to have like to have your shower have like a big wind tunnel in it to dry you off.
Oh yeah, instead of a towel.
Yeah, exactly. Like have wind blow down from the top, just like wicking all the shit off of you, all the water off of you. I've always wanted that on some level. And then you can use a towel afterwards, get up the difference. But, getting these towels soggy, they get mildewy, they need to be washed repeatedly and stuff. It's like, we can move air. We have the technology to move air. It could be like nice warm air. You finish cleaning, finish scrubbing, and then you like turn on the thing and it's like, woo, and you like feel yourself getting dry. And then you get kind of pat down after that. None of this is mandatory. But another utopian thing with toothbrushing, so I'd love to just get something I can just bite down on and just like relax while it does its thing instead of brushing.
I'm pretty sure that it exists already. At least I've seen it advertised to me on Facebook. I don't know how good it is, but you definitely want to iterate on that and make it work out well.
Yeah, either that or brush with twigs, like broken twigs that can...
Just anything to avoid a brush.
Yeah, brush is fine, but we're talking about a utopia here. Like, historically, pre-toothbrushes, that was how people brush their teeth and stuff, was like, there's certain twigs that have, I don't know if medicinal properties, they have qualities that help to maintain mouth cleanliness. It'd be cool to have like a plant like that growing in your bathroom. You take off a twig and just chew on it. Whatever you want. Because, utopia is, it's about freedom. This is the way you do your bathroom, but not everyone's going to do it that way.
Yeah, the limits to how your bathroom's set up, whether there's a wind tunnel, whether there is plants and things, are going to be ecological limits, not the sort of arbitrary limits of how much can you afford while most of the wealth that you produce goes to your bosses or whatever. That's a different type of limiting system. To just look at, what's ecologically feasible, what can work out, what can we provide for people without offense to the planet. Yeah, and then, you got your morning routine down. Maybe you take a look at your calendar to see if you have any appointments that day, if you have to attend like a free dentist appointment or a free scuba diving lesson, free doctor, free spa.
Are you meeting friends, going out for lunch? Are there any big democratic meetings that to participate in that you want to prioritize? Everyone in the society, we're lifelong learners, so everyone's going to some degree of school at every time in their life, but it's all self-oriented. It's not like the kind of school where you're like being graded and yay or nay, this is your career, the start of your career or whatever. It's like, oh, I want to know about history, and because I only work
for a course.
Exactly. I only work a couple hours a day typically to contribute to, the maintenance of society and the maintenance of my own house and stuff. So there's extra room for things like learning, democracy, more leisure time. So yeah, like, at 7:30 tonight, we've got this, I'm going to go see a history lecture, and then we're going to have breakout groups talking about how this revolution came to be, that we got this utopia. Like, I want to understand it better. So I freely enlisted in that at some point, and, but it's today, and I signed up for it in the past. I feel, I wish I didn't have to go, but know what? I know when I go there, I'm going to enjoy it. So I'm just going to do it. And then for breakfast, free choice and variability is important, and having the ability for people to, cook one meal for themselves in their own personal, like, cooking thing is something we don't want to get entirely rid of, I don't think. But like when we're thinking critically about what is needed for a society, there is a lot of waste in like having everyone have their own full-size kitchen that can cook like huge meals, even if they're like living by themselves and stuff. I think there's like a spectrum of what could be done on that kind of stuff. But then also you want to have like communal cafeterias, communal kitchens. Like if you can go down the block to go to the equivalent of like a diner, but it's like a big communal diner where everything on the menu is free and you can like meet your friends there or whatever. Get a table, order the eggs you want or whatever. And then at the end of the meal, you pay with a smile and a wink because everything's free. And you get a pat on the head from the waiter or waitress who's putting in, their limited amount of work time is being put towards the food system. Actually, maybe you yourself, you wake up earlier than everyone else because you love to cook breakfast. And you go down to the communal kitchen and you're cooking up eggs, for 3-4 hours in the morning. And like that's your place in society in terms of contributing to the work that must be done.
you only have to do 2 hours of work a day minimum. But like many people in this society, you're probably, I'll do 3 or 4. I like cooking eggs. I like getting up at 7 a.m. and then I'm done work by 10:30 or whatever. And I got a whole day ahead of me. I feel like I contributed, did almost double the requirement. By setting the minimum so low, it actually encourages people to want to contribute above the minimum amount of work to, sort of have the feeling of doing more than is necessary, of not like, oh, I just barely met this requirement. But it was actually pretty easy to just do even a bit more than I technically had to, because we all like contributing to society.
Yeah, instead of looking at the clock at work and being like, oh my God, it's only been 20 minutes. Like, how am I going to get through this day? It's like you look at the clock and you're like, oh, wow, I've been volunteering for an hour and a half already. Time was flying by because I just love my coworkers so much. And we have we listen to our music, we have our riffs. And also another thing that people pay in at this communal cafeteria is compliments to the chef. And I'm proud of my ability to
compliment monster. Love those compliments.
If I don't get my compliments,
And I think, what people would find in a society like this is without having people in the workplace who don't actually do work, but just stand around critiquing everyone else's work and saying they're not doing enough or trying to put, that breeds a lot of resentment. But if you're at the kitchen, everybody's helping out. It feels like an equal thing. You make decisions together. It just makes being at work a lot more pleasant, where you don't feel like you're being watched and graded by someone who's above you, who has the power to punish you. All of that's gone. It's just hanging out with people whose company you enjoy, doing something that is contributing to society. So whether that's making breakfast or doing physical labor or doing like research, or if you have a special skill like being a doctor or a nurse or a massage therapist, there's lots of ways to contribute to society, and people are able to do that.
Yeah, and everyone gets to have opportunities to do things that are aligned with their sincere desires and interests, that do things for other people, where they can also be part of a social fabric where they're esteemed for their contributions and they're made to feel useful. I know for me, when I'm happiest and in a flow state around work, it's when, not exactly compliments isn't really the framework I would use for it, but it's like, there's like this implicit compliment in the way that people treat you, where you can tell that they're treating you as if your contributions are valuable and that you're helping them, that they respect what you're doing. Mm-hmm. That's part of what everyone should get in whatever jobs they have, whatever jobs they try. And that's part of what is going to keep people working past the minimum, is going to make them not resentful about the fact that we all need to chip in to make society work. Ideally, most of the time, people are able to line up with stuff that they actually really want to do. But when they're doing stuff that's more challenging or stuff that is unpleasant in some way, isn't their first choice, that they're esteemed for it, that they can walk with their head high knowing that they're doing things for other people and that they're valued for that. And that's what makes people scrub toilets for 5 hours instead of 2, I think, is like at the end of the day, these toilets are clean as fuck and everyone loves me.
Yeah, people, especially jobs like toilet scrubbers, garbage collectors, things like that, I think you'd get a lot of respect in this. Just like, oh, thanks. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's interesting because we always use these kind of examples. We're talking about like unpleasant work is like stuff that's dirty. There's like poo or like whatever. Yeah. But then also like I've been changing diapers for like 2 years. I changed 2 shitty diapers yesterday. I got poo on my hand. I'm like, it's like nothing to me. It's like you just do it, right? Like once you do it a few times. So like someone who, there's other types of unpleasant work too. And actually like cleaning toilets is like not really unpleasant if you take pride in it, doing a good job. And like, I know that changing a diaper is important because if I don't, then my kid is going to be in pain because they're going to get like a diaper rash. And then like, and not only do I have to deal with that, but it's just like, you want to avoid pain, an innocent child being in pain. Totally. So it's just like, I just made that connection now for the first, like we're using these examples of these classic, garbage collectors and all this stuff that's like dirty, cleaning out the pipes and all this stuff. It's like quote unquote dirty. So we're like supposed to be like, oh, nobody wants to do that. But like you get into it if you feel esteemed and useful and your needs are met and like you're contributing. And like, I don't like get into changing diapers. I'm not like, I'm the diaper changing pro or whatever. But if I've had to change like 100 diapers in a row, I probably would. You'd start to be like, oh yeah, this is the way you do it. It's like,
Yeah, if you're just on the diaper changing conveyor belt and there's just babies coming through and with shitty diapers and you're standing there like one after another. Yeah. They're crying all back on the line and then in front of you they're smiling and happy and
pristine, shiny,
laughing
cooing
happy babies. Yeah.
We now go to the diaper changing conveyor belt in our utopian society.
Hey, morning. Well, how's it going? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. I stayed up too late last night.
Rough.
But it is what it is.
You know, someone's got to come here and change these diapers. You know, I do enjoy it. I like to contribute, but it's rough sometimes. Hey, you cutie here. Let's just wrap that up. All nice and clean. Next, baby. Oh, look, another one. This baby's got diaper rash again. You know, you're seeing this more and more nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
So many of these parents aren't putting zinc cream.
Yeah, I mean, I swear, man, sometimes I think this whole utopia is going to hell. I mean, back in my day, every parent put enough zinc cream on. There's almost no diaper rash on the assembly line.
Yeah, when I started this job, almost none. Now?
Yeah, I see it all the time.
All the time.
Well, it's these Generation Theta parents.
Yeah. They've grown up too soft, too coddled.
We gotta wipe up their mess and put on the zinc cream ourselves.
Yeah, so I support baby bum wiping assembly lines. Give parents a break. You know, you're out with your baby and you just want to pop them through the assembly line, get them cleaned up. It's an essential part of our utopia, but that doesn't mean you can slack off at home.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's the kids who suffer. I mean, it's uncomfortable. That diaper rash, no good.
Yeah.
I always put a little extra zinc cream on there and then poke them on the nose. Cute kid, though.
I love seeing they come in crying down the assembly line and they always leave laughing.
Oh, yeah. It's honest work.
Yeah, and it's not that gross. People are always like, oh, it's so gross. A little bit of poo? Toughen up a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, no, we can wear a mask if we want. I'm fine with that, but...
Even the stinkiest of baby poo, it's not that bad.
Even if you get a little on your hand, you just wipe it off.
Just tighten that bad boy up and you're good to go, kiddo. No need to thank me.
Future scientists, future doctors, future musicians. We wipe and clean them all.
Yeah, you know that kid that just cured the rare cancer? I'm pretty sure I changed his diaper. I remember every diaper I've ever changed. It makes you proud baby bum wiper.
Yeah, I'm honored just to contribute my small part to it.
And that was two hard, honest workers on the baby bum wiping factory assembly line in a utopia. And now back to our show. Another thing you might want to check in the morning before you head out for your day, whatever you have to do, is whether, there's anything you have to return to the library. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of libraries in this society. This is Utopia. So obviously there's going to be a ton of libraries.
Yeah, property relations have been almost entirely replaced with usufructian relationships of, lending, repair, and recirculation. So everything in your house, more or less, is going to ultimately have a home in a library. And instead of stores everywhere you go, there are libraries that are the equivalent of stores. You check things out with your library card instead of using your credit card, and it's all free. The word free is probably even lost meaning to people in the free as in gratis sense, because in a moneyless society or something close to it, the concept of like free versus cost could be lost, and maybe we're just think of free in terms of freedom, free as in libre.
Yeah, I think free as in liberated would be the primary way that word is used, but it still applies to stuff at the library. Like it would be, you're liberated to have the furniture you need, to have the appliances you need, to check out the books that you want, or equipment if you want to try recording music. You check out a guitar, an audio interface, an amplifier, some microphones, whatever you need. You have the freedom to access that stuff. And same thing with services. Like before I was talking about the free dentist, the free doctor, the free spa or whatever. I imagine that meaning free as in these things are freely offered. This is a liberated society where doctors have been liberated from the profit system wherein they're, either forced to work much longer hours than is healthy for them, and they start to treat patients like not individual people deserving of care and attention and whatnot, but as sort of like, oh, I got to do another one, or I'm trying to not that I think doctors in the current society don't care about people, but I bet it can be hard when there's the pressures of the profit system in there. A lot of doctors probably don't feel free to contribute in a way that matches with their sort of inner drive in a sort of genuine way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overwork, a lot of pressure placed on doctors.
Yeah. So like our medical triage system under the current system is partially abridged by kind of like a financial triage system where in like the US healthcare system where money is like a factor. And like we, in our Utopia, our triage system should not just include like the severity of what's going on, but it should also include a degree of like agency and self-directed passion for caregivers instead of financial triage. I mean, and that kind of like agency and self-directed passion factor is something that I think to the highest degree possible should be integrated in like every element of people's lives. That like the door should be as open as possible for people to follow their glorious whims towards trying stuff out and doing different things and living freely in the meandering direction of their inner heart, you know, and the social relationships around them. Now, obviously there are some things that need to be done. Someone needs to make breakfast. Someone needs to help give people medical checkups. Someone needs to do all these things. But I think if you respect people and you give people that freedom and, you know, you don't limit the amount of doctors that exist, you give access to medical training to as many people as possible. It's something that people can take as part of their night courses as I'm picking up, you know, I'm learning how to like use the doctor Google that they use to figure out what's going on and stuff.
Yeah. And there's like a weird culture currently around doctor training and like medical school and like putting people through this ringer where they're constantly tired and overworked. And I don't know, I heard some like medical people talking about, I don't have all the details on how all of that works, but a lot of it is like really unnecessary and just sort of a gatekeeping way to, like, it's framed as like, you know, we want only the best people to become doctors, but I don't think it actually does that. It just keeps a lot of people out of the profession who could be really great doctors, but they're just not able to handle this grinder of med school, this like human meat grinder of like pushing people through this terrible experience in order to allow them to be a doctor that cares for people.
Yeah. And obviously nothing against the doctors that make it through that grinding system and so on. And you're special and I respect that. But like if I learn a lot about something, you know, skin infections, and that's the only thing I know about doctoring, and it's just like an interest. I get a skin infection once. I try to understand it. It brings me into a wormhole. I take courses about it. And I'm like a skin infection guy in terms of intellect, not in terms of like skin infections. If someone's a skin infection guy in that sense, they need to go to a skin infection guy in the first sense. But like the vibrant, complete whole of the medical profession should include everyone who knows enough to help in some times and in some circumstances. It's not about gatekeeping a special like super doctor who knows everything about everything, although some people might take that route of wanting to do that or like get really deep into stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But then also like every apartment building should have multiple doctor-ready people in it when it comes to common ailments, when it comes to like common things.
Yeah. And like nurses can handle a lot of that stuff a lot of the time. And nurses like know a lot because they're around doctors all the time watching what they're doing. And like obviously some of the more specialized things, if you haven't been to med school, you can't like do a surgery. But yeah, I think there's a lot we could do to provide a lot more healthcare without necessarily forcing everyone to do this specific doctor thing that we currently have set up. But this was all a big tangent. I started saying that in the morning you'd want to check if you had anything to return to the library. And like obviously a lot of this stuff probably wouldn't have a return date on it. Like if you had your furniture or your clothes or whatever, you just keep that until you don't want to use it anymore. But if there is anything you don't want to use anymore, you might leave it out on the front step for collection day. Or if there's anything that does have a time limit, there's things that there's only a certain number of copies of a book, or there's only a certain number of camping equipment or whatever, and you've had it out for a specific amount of time, you might have to return it. So, before you go out for your day, you just want to make sure if there's anything you need to return, that you leave that out.
Yeah, this is something we've mentioned before on the show about the inevitable glorious utopia we're moving towards. But the same way that, you have garbage collection, recycling under the current system, in the future system that we're trying to create, you would have, library trucks coming around picking up it could be picking up stuff that people are done with, picking up stuff that want to be returned. They left out at a certain time on a schedule and so on, and they pick it up, they put it all in the truck, they redistribute it back to the appropriate libraries. You can still bring stuff back in person, and that is welcome nonetheless. But, people are busy and there's lots of stuff to do, and there's a lot of recreation to do too. And let's not forget the importance of recreation. Do we really want a society where everyone's filling up their day, running errands, bringing everything back to the appropriate stores that they got it from all across town and stuff?
It's inefficient too, having every individual person making all of these little individual trips rather than just having one person do a round of the neighborhood, picking up all of these things and then bringing it back to the depot to be sorted and repaired if necessary, looked through, logged, put back in the library for someone else to take out. That's like a social efficiency thing. It's like if you're going to the library anyway, then sure, yeah, bring it yourself. You might create more room on the truck, or that could be useful. But no need to make a special trip. That's just a waste of resources. We now go to two friends going to a mega library in a utopian society.
Oh man, I'm so stoked to show you this mega library. I can't believe you've never been here before.
Yeah, no, I never get downtown. Everything I need is right by me, and it's intimidating how big it is.
No, it's awesome. And we both had a stressful week. I had the milk spilling thing. I know you had that double book massage appointment.
Again. Oh yeah, that was having to wait when you thought you had a massage, but then double booked, and that
sucks, dude.
And I'm telling you, you did get all the milk cleaned up. I know you're worried that there might be traces somewhere in the cracks or whatever, but no, you did an adequate job cleaning it up. I know you did.
Oh, thank you.
It was a rough week.
We just need a little bit of library therapy, a borrowing spree.
Real borrowing spree here. I got my little red wagon. I'm going to fill it up with stuff. I don't even know what, but just borrow it. If I don't use it, I'll return it right away.
And we'll just go through these big doors, and here we are. Check it out. There's almost nothing like it anymore. This was actually a mall. It was called a mall.
Mall. That's a weird word.
So these used to all be capitalist stores.
Right. So you'd have to trade tokens or whatever to get things.
Yeah, something like that. Some points or something. They had
weird.
Points.
Yeah.
That they actually, someone told me that you would die if you don't get points.
Right, because you even had to trade points for food, I think.
Yeah.
And you just wouldn't get food if you didn't have enough, unless someone was nice enough to use their points.
Yeah.
Which, if they don't have it, that's
I don't really understand how that worked. But
me neither. Oh, this is amazing. I love how they have the instrument library, the sheet music library, and the recording equipment library all right beside each other. You can just take things out. It's so simple.
Amazing. Yeah, and there's the arts and crafts sections over here. You got paints and easels. You got craft paper, tape, etc. And you see down there, one of my favorites is the odds and ends library. There's all sorts of weird stuff in there. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, that's fun. You can just look around and find different things. And costume library. That's neat. It looks like they got Halloween costumes in there, cosplay of people's favorite characters, and fursuits, of course, for our furry friends.
Yeah, we got culinary library. We got the spice library. We got tech, computer parts, have their own libraries there. Video games, the retro video game library is really cool.
I definitely need to hit up the board game library. I have been having these board game nights, which you're still invited to, by the way. But it's amazing. Yeah, just get a big stack of those. I love board games. Big fan. And maybe I'll get some fitness equipment, too, if it's not too heavy.
Well, they can drop it off at your house, too, if you sign up for it.
Right, yeah, of course.
So they just bring it around on the big wagon. There's obviously tools, clothing, and furniture, too. There's some good furniture libraries there, and then the drop-off's pretty regular, too, so it's not a big wait. I know it probably won't fit inside your wagon here, but I like to just freshen up my house every now and then, just sub it out. They take the old couches, bring the new ones in, get it repaired.
Yeah, it's nice to have just freshly refurbished furniture every once in a while.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and sometimes I got attached to my couch, and I got to this point where I was like, you know, if you love something, you have to let it go, and like this is going to be someone else's favorite couch in the future. And then I ended up getting another couch that, you know, it was neither better nor worse, but it was different, and
Right.
it was refreshing. And like, I know old Patchy, I call him, because he had a few holes that we patched up ourselves. I don't know if they fully refurbished that or they left the patches on, but I think Patchy's out there making someone else happy now, which
Definitely is. That's the beautiful thing about this society. You always know it's out there making someone else happy. And I love having a mixture of the novel and the familiar in things, like something new, something that you're well used to. It's beautiful. And a haunted house library. That's so cool. Smoke machines. There's like big inflatable Frankensteins, and that is neat. I'm going to set up my apartment as a haunted house one time just for fun. When people come over and they'll be like,
that's a fun idea. That is a fun idea, man.
I never would have thought about it if I hadn't seen the haunted house library, but
yeah, you think like that because this is all normal to us as a society we've lived in our whole life, that we wouldn't be continually re-amazed by the incredible bounty of opportunity given to us by the Library Society, but I actually find that's not the case at all. I am amazed over and over again by the incredible bounty our Library Society gives us.
Oh yeah, I'm constantly amazed. I'm amazed right now just looking at those pet costume library.
Oh yeah, do you want to swing by the puppy library and we can take a few of them for a walk as we go around the mega library here? We can just bring them back. We don't have to adopt them or anything. We can just take them out for a good time.
Oh yeah. I'd love to spend a little bit of time with some happy puppies, and maybe we could put a cute little costume on them if they seem to be enjoying it or not. You know, I don't want to shove them into something they're not interested in, but I think I'm going to grab this telescope too from the astronomy library. I've always meant to spend more time looking at the stars.
Oh yeah, well, it's supposed to be a clear night tonight. You should definitely do that.
Yeah, you were right. This borrowing spree was the perfect thing after these weeks that we've had.
Yeah, well, obviously I get full access to my choice of therapists in the society, but going to the mega library, this is my therapy. I just feel so much better now.
And that was two friends enjoying the mega library in a utopian society. But yeah, in terms of trucks too, it's interesting because I imagine this utopia, there won't be the same kind of road system. Our cities are going to look very different than how they currently look. So when I say truck, I'm almost kind of imagining more of like a cart thing that can run on walkways that are put through the city. That, you know, you don't want to have these like giant roads and everyone's getting around with cars. It's going to be a lot more public transportation. You can still have individualized vehicles for people to drive if necessary, like if you have a disability or if there's like a thing you need to do, like you're moving a sofa or something, it'd be hard to take that on like a train. You would want to have ways for people to get around the city, but to have that be sort of the last option that people would take because the public transit is so well set up, it's so quick, it's so easy. And there's a general sense of like wanting to do the right thing in terms of the environment that you choose those options first.
Yeah, there might even be like a day of the year where everyone celebrates the time when all the roads were ripped up and all those places were turned into gardens and plazas and so on. But generally, I imagine it's probably like you have these like walkable plazas with a mixture between walkways and plant life. And you might still have like major arterials that are like places where there's things that are kind of the equivalent of like major transportation trucks that connect these different regions where people can have different personal transportation vehicles on them. But personal transportation is primarily happening through, you know, subways, rail cars, and other public transportation fitting along certain routes that create a perfect kind of like grid across the city to connect all of the plazas and to make everything available. But if you have to move some big thing from one side of the city to the other, you could also do transportation of goods partially through public shared infrastructure as well. Like you could theoretically have a subway that has a subway car that's used for the transportation of large scale goods and have a system to like move stuff to like, you know, it pulls up to the subway platform and there's like a fence. And then the other side, the workers are like moving the shipments into the last car or whatever. There's different variations on how that could look. But generally, we know there's going to be much less roads. There's going to be much less personal transportation vehicles, although it's going to remain an option, both in terms of like off-road transportation and then also things like transportation around the movement of goods and larger groups along like bigger arterial equivalents. But you have a grid of all that stuff that fits together into a coherent system, and you can get where you need to go within a reasonable time frame. And there's also like rapid transportation as well. So you don't have to stop at every stop along the way. There's also a train that's going to go, shoot to the other end of town and only have 2 stops and things like that. Basically just like good urban design taken to the extreme. And the roads are ripped up. There's flowers everywhere. There's fields. There's playgrounds. There's amenities, public pools. There's never a line at the public pool. There's always lifeguards on duty.
Yeah, your city would be treated not like a sort of imposition into nature where it's sort of like continually pushing nature further and further out as there's more development around the edges, but something that's more integrated into the ecosystem surrounding it. So thinking about what kinds of wildlife are in the area, what kinds of wildlife can be integrated into the city system in a way that is beneficial for the plant life that's there, but isn't going to be dangerous or difficult to deal with for the human inhabitants. Thinking about the city itself as an ecology, having trees and plants around that produce fruit that people can take and eat if they need, community gardens, to have like super fresh vegetables available that, when you head down to that community cafeteria, there's nothing more efficient than there being a huge garden out back that they're just pulling fresh vegetables out and eating them right away. Yeah, I think generally taking a holistic approach to when you're designing cities, thinking about not just what does this one individual developer want to do on this lot that they purchased, but how does all of this connect to each other? How does the experience of existing in the society connect to the transportation systems that are set up, the amount of green space, plant and wildlife, and all of these factors working together to create an experience of existing within a city that feels like something natural, that's an extension of nature using human ingenuity. So yeah, you breakfast chef in this day, you're done your shift at like 12:30, whatever.
Yeah, and you're good at cooking breakfast, but you're not going to be a breakfast chef for life. And it's not because you're not allowed to be, but it's because you don't have to be.
No, yeah, you just keep signing up to do that because that's what you like,
But then it might be, that you meet someone over breakfast, you're sitting with a friend that you don't always sit together, and they're sitting with like a friend of a friend, and you have like kind of a crush on them a little bit from meeting them. And then they're like, oh, well, I work at the upcycling place where we salvage old stuff from the capitalist society and we fix it up, and it's like really fun, it's really stimulating and stuff. Like, you should come out and pick up a shift or whatever, try it out. And like, you think they're kind of a baddie, and they make you feel some kind of way.
Yeah, and their enthusiasm about doing that job is a bit contagious, and you're like, yeah, why don't I?
Yeah.
I'm gonna slag off breakfast shifts and start doing that.
Yeah, I'll free up some room on the breakfast shift waiting list because that's such a popular job. I'm going to go do something that's slightly harder and more rewarding. Because maybe, number one, I might get to work with Cutie and we might get some FaceTime, which, I would never admit to anyone. I'm embarrassed even to say this in my private thoughts. But secondly, I'm going to build up a rapport with Cutie in the future because we're going to have this shared experience. Yeah. But number 3, Cutie makes a good case. Maybe this is a good thing to do. This is a worthwhile thing to do. But
yeah, whatever job you happen to do that day, let's say you're done for the day. And so then what else do you do after 2 to 3, 4 hours of work? You're going to want to do probably some kind of recreation most days, unless you're someone who just loves classes. Maybe you're going to attend classes for the rest of the day, or you love democratic meetings. You're going to do that all day. But I think most people would want to have some recreation during most of their days.
Definitely. Yeah, and you want to have that stuff really, the library system really makes a lot of recreation really accessible. There's only certain limited recreations that become less, things like gambling and games that are based on scarcity, like trading cards and stuff like that. Like some of that stuff becomes less fun under Utopia as compared to under capitalism.
I think scarce trading cards specifically could still exist. Like obviously you could just print your own if you wanted to, but that would be no fun. That you could do like a limited run and be like, I'm creating, it's not Schmokemon cards in this world, right, and there's only 100 of this one particular Schmokemon. Just only some people get it. You could trade a bunch of other cards for it. That could be a fun way to keep some of that alive, but not necessarily, have it be like a money thing, but just like a fun game kind of. I like that idea. But yeah, I think like in general, like if the recreation that you want to do is something that's easily replicable, like you said, swimming pools. We could have lots of swimming pools. Just make sure you have enough swimming pool capacity for everybody to go to the pool when they need to. Other things, there might be a waiting list, like if you want to do a submarine trip to the bottom of the ocean, maybe we can only do a certain amount of those per year, so there's a waiting list.
Like even like engineering and the support that's required for something like that. Yeah,
there's a special technical, there's only a certain amount of people who can pilot these safely. We don't want that Titanic implosion thing happening. What was that called? The capitalist guy who went to the Titanic with a PS2 Titan? Remote. Titan? It's already
who cares about those guys? None of my business.
You don't want that happening, obviously, but you do want people to be able to explore the depths of the ocean.
I just want to say a quick thing about pools, which is that, we can build more pools. I don't think there's a major technological barrier to producing significantly more public pools than we have. It's all like financial and land use and access and so on. But even if you just open up the existing pools to the people, think about all the private pools in backyards, all of the pools and condos and so on that exist scattered across your city right now.
Yeah.
And you have your 4 or 5, maybe 6 public pools and your 4 or 5, 6 subscription-based pools, private, open to the public pool things. But then it's you have just dozens and dozens of condos, hotels, rich guys' backyards and stuff. And you add all those little flags to the map and all of a sudden it's we actually already live in a pool paradise. Yeah, we just don't know how to use it.
Right.
And that's the case with a lot of things under capitalism, is that capitalism has been very effective in creating a bunch of different things that people would like. It's not like capitalism has the agency. Actually, it's kind of weird when you talk about stuff that way. But under the context of capitalism, this has happened, clearly. Yeah. But one thing that hasn't happened under the context of capitalism is distribution based on need, distribution based on desire, which is also kind of a type of need, to get pedantic and maybe poetic. We live in a pool paradise, and we live in a gym paradise. We live in a basketball paradise. We live there's all these paradises that just can be unlocked by transitioning to a library society. And I know what the criticism would be is it's actually complicated to work out how all that works. How do you track it on the system? What do you do if people fuck up the basketballs? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, true. But here's the thing about human beings. We're geniuses. We come up with answers to questions like that through trial and error. We find out things socially from trying things out, and we can improve things over time. So yes, are there challenges when we think about the transition from here to there, of what all the details are of how all these things work? Yes. Are any of those challenges insurmountable in even a medium term way? No. Short term, maybe sometimes. Medium term, no way. Long term, opposite of no way. We're going to be having problems in the future that will blow our puny minds. That's how not insurmountable these questions and problems are, is that they're all going to be solved before the medium term. And in the long term, we're going to have even bigger problems that I can't even possibly describe in the best way possible.
We now go to a cryogenically frozen billionaire being awoken in a utopian society.
All right, everyone. This guy, he's got a really, really rare cancer, uncurable, we thought, but that kid busted it open this week. So we can finally unfreeze him and show him our wonderful world. So I'm just going to pull this big lever here and...
Hey, what's going on here? I want it to be frozen. Wait, Did it work?
Mr. Michelson.
Future? Yes.
Welcome to the future. Well, it's our present, but to you it would be the future from when it's your present too, actually, technically, but it was the future at the time you were frozen.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. Oh.
And I've got incredible news as well. Your cancer was cured earlier this week by an 11-year-old boy genius.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm assuming all my assets have been kept up to date and wisely invested. I tried to make preparations for that, so I should be able to reward that boy handsomely out of my my vast wealth.
Vast wealth. Should I tell him?
What is my wealth not vast anymore? Was it unwisely invested?
No,
has it been seized by your sultan? Let me talk to your sultan.
Just the contrary. I'm not sure where to start here, actually. We don't exactly have what I would call private wealth anymore. We're a library society now, so instead of market and private property, we have usufructian library relations and a directly democratic and ecological commune of communes where people are paid according to need.
That sounds like commie crap. I don't know.
Exactly, yes.
Oh no, the filthy grabbers are taking it all.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's great.
This is an absolute nightmare.
We grabbed you back to life, and we grabbed a cure for cancer for you by putting common resources towards a common good. But hey, look.
What about all my precious jewels? Were they kept for me? At least I
mean, that was a really long time ago. It's kind of we can look into it about your jewels, but if it's any I've got a few jewels here you can have. These are just some of my jewels. You can just have them.
Are these real? Or are they?
Yeah. Yeah. Really good stuff.
Okay.
If you like jewels, I got more where that came from too. Everyone does.
I don't know. How does one signal that they're above others in your society?
By working really hard cleaning up poo or garbage, usually.
Oh, no. What about someone who orders other people to pick up poo or garbage? Is that an available role?
Yeah, like a baby or a child?
No, like a boss, like a manager, but kind of...
Oh, yeah, everyone... We self-manage now, and it's directly democratically run. And I know that you were rich before.
Very rich, billionaire.
I'm not familiar with that word, but it sounds cool. But one thing that we do know as compared to before in your society is now we actually live in balance with the earth, which is pretty good. We actually just recently finished up cleaning the plastic out of the ocean. So that was pretty cool.
Okay.
We also, part of the political theory that got us here, the library society, it makes people richer than rich. So although you had a great many access to wealth and so on previously, you actually now have higher access to wealth than ever before. You can access any tool, any item, any type of clothing. You can get access to knowledge. You can get access to political agency in a way that you never had before by coming together in communities. And
I had a lot of political agency. You'd just bribe a politician and they would kind of do what you wanted and implement the laws that you wanted. And how does one even have political agency if everyone has it? That's basically meaningless then. Like, how do you impose your will over everybody else's? What about my yacht?
Right. Okay, I'm just going to be straight up. I am extremely confused about what you're saying, and I'm going to list off the different words that have confused me. Bribe, I'm not familiar with that. Politician, that's a strange word. Yacht, I'm not familiar with. There was more in there too.
Nightmare.
I think I know what a nightmare means, but I'm having a hard time mapping it to the context. Because what I'm describing is a society that's perfectly optimized for the well-being of all. And that seems like it's more of a good dream.
So when do I get my mansion with all my wealth and my items and my bags of money and all the political power that comes with that?
You're not getting it back. It's all gone. I don't even know where it is. It doesn't exist. Money, I mean, we could try to get you something that's like money, but it won't work. There's nowhere you can spend it. It's just that society doesn't exist. It never will again exist.
Well, that's where you're wrong. Never will again exist. I am dedicating my life from this point on to making things back to the way they used to be.
We have political mechanisms for meaningful participation, and I'd be happy to help guide you through that to try to get your advocacy done. I mean, every motion needs a seconder. I'll second that. It's worth a shot. Let's see what happens.
Lead the way. Lead the way.
Do you want some fresh picked flowers? Here you go. We booked a massage for you at 2, by the way.
Oh, I won't say no to that.
Will the billionaire's attempt to bring back capitalism and private property through the system itself succeed? Will he amass a mighty army to declare war on the utopian library society? Or will he become comfortable with the way the world now is, realizing that it's much better not just for him, but everyone, and that his ideas around domination, above and below, and other strange hierarchical concepts from the previous world no longer apply, and just they're kind of nonsensical in a way. They're kind of incoherent in a the more you think about it kind of way. Well, will he come to that conclusion, or will he fight to the bitter end? Find out next time on Seriously Wrong. So this has been Morning in Utopia, which is the first part of our 2-part episode on a day in Utopia. But we got much more to say. We'll be coming back next week with another episode that relates to this topic and continues these conversations right where we left off.
Yeah, a day in Utopia, it's so full, brimming with wonder and life and beauty, and that we couldn't fit it all in one episode. So thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week with more Utopia, more beautiful imaginings coming up.
If you like what we do on Seriously Wrong, why don't you swing on down to the Seriously Wrong Patreon and sign up as a monthly donor, our beautiful genius community. You get access to all of our bonus episodes, the listener mailbags where we respond to comments. We recently did a bonus episode on mass surveillance, but we've also got a multi-part series on Jordan Peterson's book where we're criticizing it through a fair-minded lens. We've got episodes on the Haitian Revolution and the French Revolution and a variety of other topics. And it makes the show happen, so it's like really, really appreciated. And you get access to the Discord server and other little bonuses and fun stuff along the way, too much to mention. So consider doing that if you have the means and the will to do so. We greatly, deeply appreciate it. It really does make the show possible. And we want to thank everyone who's already doing that. Yeah, we couldn't do it without you. And we appreciate so deeply all the comments and messages that you send us about the show.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for listening.
Yeah, and bye-bye.
And yes, and bye-bye.